stream, which I think is kind of neat.
What do you think of something like this, opposed to like what we normally use now with our stack tips?
Excuse me. So I like it. It's got its purpose, I'm sure. It's got its time for use. They say that it's really good for industrial water and foam applications because it's got low friction loss. And I don't know. I mean, once again, I have to see this in person, but I do like I do like the way that you can disperse the stream, because most people's biggest complaint with a smoothbore nozzle is, well, you can't ventilate with it. Well, this you're not really going to ventilate because it's more of a master stream. But it's nice to have that option if you want to apply foam in large quantities. You can actually turn those vanes inside and use it, which I think is cool. So,
well, the other interesting part of this too, the Vortex, is that it's electronically controlled. Mm-hmm. So it's not even something technically where you can do like a traditional fog. You could rotate it. It's electronically, which kind of brings in another aspect of, is it going to work all the time? Or, I don't think you can really rely on it.
What's it get plugged up to?
So that's what I'm trying to figure out. The website was kind of vague on some of the, which that's also worries me too, but they were kind of vague on some of the details. Like when I went on to look at some of the features, it didn't really go into details on a lot of different things.
I think a lot of that is because it's a brand new product that they're just showcasing. They're like, hey, we aren't not putting out a lot of the information right now. If you're interested in it, contact us. We'll get you more. But until then, we're just going to let it slide and see, kind of dangling the worm out in the water for the fish.
And that's kind of that's what Scott did with that site, the thermal imaging for the mask. That's what they did with that originally, is they didn't really give too much info. They were basically telling people, come see us at FDIC. They were making you want to come get more.
Yeah. Oh, what do you want to see here? Oh, what do I want to come to? I want to go to FDIC.
Yeah.
It's like the Disney land for firefighters.
But I think this is cool, though. I think this is pretty cool, though, for the simple fact is that it gives you another option for the straight stream. It
does.
You can use that straight stream. Actually, I wonder how this would work on a master device, or if you could use it on a master device.
On a master stream, I think that's what this primarily is used for.
See, it doesn't say that.
Yeah, but when it says it's used for industrial water and foam, that kind of tells me this is not a small nozzle.
Oh, actually, you know what? If you do go to the photo and zoom in a little bit, it actually isn't hooked up to a hose. It does look like it hooked up to a monitor.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be cool to use for a like a portable master stream device, or taking it off the top of the engine. But once again, where do you plug it into?
Well, that's probably why now it kind of makes sense. That's probably why it's electronically controlled. There's probably some sort of like switch or something that the operator could play around with. We'll have to do a little more research into
maybe they're
how this
using
works.
the iPad from last episode.
Ah, there you go.
Dealing with the pump operator just being able to control everything from a distance.
Robots.
Yes.
Robot engineers.
Oh, technology.
Gotta love it sometimes.
Oh, technology.
I think it's cool. I would have to see more about it to really get excited about it. Mm-hmm. I think it's neat, but I'm not like, I don't need it in my life.
I mean,
if it was on Wish.com and it was like a penny, then maybe I need it in my life. But I'm sure it's not a penny.
And it's probably not coming from China.
And it's probably not going from China. Well, some of the parts might be. But
there's a good possibility.
Let's go to my second favorite. And that is the thermal imaging drone.
Ooh.
Yes. So there's a company called FLIR or FLIR?
FLIR.
FLIR?
FLIR.
It's FLIR.
Not FLIR. You're not at Chachi's with the flare.
Ooh,
you need some FLIR.
I thought you were talking about Ric Flair for a second.
No.
Anyways.
No.
Hey, Ric Flair's awesome. Anywho. So this company called FLIR, FLIR, makes these thermal imaging drones that are made for the fire service. Now they make type of thermal imagings for a ton of different things, handheld ones, like even ones that police can put in their vehicles. But this one's really cool because it's a drone, and these things cost, I think I've seen they're about $10,000 to $16,000 depending on like which model you go with.
Yeah,
but
the basic or the advanced.
Let me tell you though, these things are cool, and I watched the video, and we're going to be posting a video to the Facebook page on all of these products. But wait till you see the video for this drone. It is so cool because it actually has a kind of like a hub station. And so when a battalion shows up, or officer, whoever,
Chief officer who has this, or support functions, whatever,
it literally has its own base, and it can take off from the vehicle,
which I think is pretty neat.
It is really neat. And so as everyone's basically doing their, trying to get water supply, trying to flake out hose lines to the door, doing 360s, throwing ladders, whatever, the chief could actually take this, put it above the building, hover it, and watch it from an iPad. It actually comes with, what, two?
2 mini iPads, 64 gigs.
It comes with 2 mini iPads. That's your $10,000 to $16,000 right there.
Right there, that's it.
2 iPads. But
I'm assuming controls it as well, because it comes with 2 controllers.
It does.
And 3 batteries, because I'm sure it doesn't stay airborne for very long with that kind of technology and cameras.
Probably not.
No.
But it's pretty cool, though, because why everyone's doing this kind of changes the whole scene size up. It kind of takes the guessing game out a little bit.
It gives you that fist-sided view.
Mm-hmm. Because you'll see in the video, or if you guys don't want to go do that video, go to YouTube and look it up. And but it's really cool because it just hovers above the house. Or actually, you can do a 360 around the house though. But it's meant to kind of go up above the house, and the thermal imaging camera stares down, and you get to see not only where the fire is, but you get to see the different heat elements, and so if it looks like there's fire coming out of the A side, this thing could tell you if it really is in the A side of the building or if it's somewhere else.
Yeah, it's already finding it for you. It's taking the guesswork out of where it's located in what corner of the building or what corner of the house or wherever. It's just saying, hey, go to the Charlie Delta corner, and that's where your fire is going to be. That's where your heat signature is.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. It's nice to have. It would also be nice for not just fire applications, but search and rescue applications for lost kids in the woods, or
And we had something
from a fire side.
And we had something like that a couple years ago, where there was a kid missing near a wooded line, and that thing would have been awesome for it.
Big old wooded area, yeah. I mean,
and that thing would have been great. But some of the capabilities that they talk about, and again, this thing could be used for a ton of different things, but they even talk about, as you said, search and rescue. That's one of the big ones they talk about. Not only firefighting, but they even talk about for wildland fires. Yeah. Think about it. This thing could get...
That's your lookout on your LCES. Okay, LECS. LECS. I think it's LECS.
But it gives you that ability, though, that you can send that drone out to go see what's ahead, what you're actually going to look at from an aerial view. And like you said, it could be your backup lookout. You have somebody that's designated to kind of, fly that.
They're your eyes in the sky.
Yeah. I mean, this thing has so many capabilities. I lied. Scott's Sight's probably not. This is probably my favorite thing. Now, as I talk about it more and more, I mean, come on. I get the thermal imaging camera part, but I get to fly it.
That's true. But it's got a button that probably says take off, hover, land. So you're probably not flying it a whole lot.
Well, no, but you do have the capabilities, though. This thing does allow you to actually fly it. So if you want to do a 360, you can do the 360, but then go to like hover mode and let it sit in the hover.
Stay.
Yeah. So I think that's really cool. Man,
I'd be interested to see when you hover it if the wind changes and if the smoke column or the convection changes, what the heat rating on something like that would be, or if it'll drop it.
Not sure. But I mean, if you have someone that's watching that thing, though, if it does move, you
should be able to catch it.
You should be able to catch it quickly and relocate. And that's the whole part of, we mentioned before the episode, we were talking about this, and I mentioned, like, give this to a safety officer. when you have a safety officer show up on the scene of the fire, give it to him. Give him the iPad. Then the battalion still has an iPad.
Yeah.
But the safety officer's in charge.
You get two. Well, he's in charge of all the safety, but you can also use it for hazmat scenes.
Yeah.
You get fire impingement on a propane tank or on a big old cylinder of some sort. You can watch the heat rise.
That's true. Or you have a overturned vehicle.
Yep.
You can use that and get up close personal to it and see what you got.
Exactly. Which is nice from a hazmat perspective.
Yeah.
But then can it be deconned?
I don't know.
It
depends on
another stroke of the $16,000 check pen.
It depends on what the leak is, I guess.
True.
But I think out of a lot of the things that we talked about here so far, I think this one probably is the most practical for the future of firefighting.
I'll agree with that.
I think this one has the most positive implications for our business, and I think if this thing now, the price point is what's going to be the killer for a lot of departments. Only big departments are really going to be able to afford something like this, unless there's grants.
And not just one, but they're going to want like 2 or 3.
Yeah, and like I said, it depends. I think not this one in particular, but I did read an article a while back, and I'm pretty sure it was FDNY was actually trying out a firefighting drone. Mm-hmm. And I believe it was FDNY, and I was reading an article on it, and they were kind of looking at it, but I thought about it, I was like, what if they like it? FDNY is not like, you just can't buy one.
No.
Like, I don't know how many stations FDNY have. I know Chicago has over 90.
They probably have to buy 20 or 30 of them.
Yeah. So from there, that's where the problem comes in. But then you think about like a small department somewhere, they're going to really have to find that money. It's not something that's going to be in a budget.
No, it's definitely not going to be. And they're not going to go, hey, let me buy this. Some town official, whoever is doing, is going to look at them and laugh. Yeah. You want what?
But I think it's pretty cool, and I think if you guys are looking for something awesome to check out, check that out. FLIR, FLIR. FLIR, whatever.
Forward-looking infrared.
Well, I know what it means, but I don't know if that's how you pronounce it.
It is. They've been using it for years in airport crash trucks as well, on the tips of the schnozzles.
Oh. See, look at that. You learn something new every day, folks.
Oh, FLIR.
Did not know that.
Full of knowledge.
But I think it's awesome. So check that out. And if you're at a department and you think you could use that, check it out. And if you guys want to send us one to try out,
I'll be more than happy to use it. FLIR technology on the drone.
But last but not least,
this is not flare.
Last but not least, let's talk about your favorite.
Oh, my favorite.
And that is the Pierce Ascendant 100 heavy duty mid mount aerial ladder.
It's nice.
That's a mouthful.
It's nice.
It is nice. Have you seen the videos, right?
I have.
And I can tell you right now, when I first saw these videos, I was really, really impressed. That apparatus was just really, really amazing. Mm-hmm. The things that it can do, the low profile, which we'll talk about here in a second, but it's just really, really impressive.
It almost reminds me of the old Baker aerial scopes with the outrigger spread and the downriggers for it. It's bringing some old school back into this new day and age and new technology and new devices, and keeping it as low as it is already. I think it's pretty kick butt. I think it's pretty awesome.
And with the with the stabilizers you were talking about too, this thing's interesting because it actually has 6. It doesn't have 4 like the normal one. It actually has 6. There's 2 at the front bumper, mm-hmm. and then basically the other 4 in their normal spots, towards the rear and towards the mid.
Well, there's only 2 actual outriggers that go out.
Well, that's true.
And those are at the midpoint because it is a mid-mount aerial. So they go right under the turntable and push out. It's got a really nice jack spread of 13 feet total, which is phenomenal. Yeah. I'm sorry, stabilizer spread's 18 foot. I lied.
18.
I don't know where I saw 13 before, but it's 18 feet, which is still...
Which is amazing if you look at the normal outriggers right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's
about a 5 foot spread. It's my wingspan when I put an outrigger out on an aerial apparatus.
You're talking about a department that may have like narrow streets. This is perfect.
Yeah, with one set like that, you can just put it right in between cars or one on the sidewalk, whatever you need to do with it. But the four sets of downriggers make it really nice. That's what makes it that old school feel of the Baker aerial scope.